Money Talk Radio.
South Florida's Money Talk Radio.
WSBR.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Mick Bazsuly Show, brought to you by RP Summit, putting money in businesses' pockets for 20 years. Visit rpsummit.com. Now, here's Mick.
4 minutes after 12 on a wonderful, wild Thursday here in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Florida. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful outside today. It's a great day to be alive. Great day to be here in the studio. A lot going on around the world, as you could well imagine. I mean, it's hectic. They just drilled an admiral, a two-star flag admiral, into the ground on accusations which possibly weren't even true. But, you know, it's nothing to ruin a career now and then in Washington. We've seen it. Guy served with honor and distinction right across the board. Look what happens, all right? His career is over. Meanwhile, 80-year-old Bill Cosby on trial. Again, you know, why didn't they just let the old guy go? He was a mistrial. This has got to be taking a toll on him at 80 years old, let's face it, even though he looks in pretty good shape. One of his accusers said that he gave her 3 blue pills, said they were Benadryl, and it would relax her. Well, you knew she wasn't relaxed when she woke up, and all of a sudden his panties were on his forehead. I mean, there's a little something there to be said. I mean, these are victims. But, you know, the guy's 80 years old. He's on his last leg. Who knows how long he's going to be around? Just long enough for him to have a couple of years in probably Leavenworth. A lot going around. The stock market is up today, finally. I mean, Monday was like carnage in the streets. Everybody was panicking, but it's kind of rebounded. And over the last 2-3 days, we made up all the losses that we incurred on Monday. NASDAQ is doing well. Some of the small cap stocks that have been on our show, Gopher Protocol, Pot Network is back up over 30 cents today. And we'll bring you up to date on what's going on over there later on when we come back. You know, you look around the markets today and you see uncertainty. But you got to remember, all right, you know, there's corrections that take place. These are normal things. It has nothing to do with trade deficits. It has nothing to do with rising interest rates. In the long run, interest rates, yes, have been going up. But they're going up ever so slightly, yet the greed of Wall Street, okay, has kicked in. Okay, they're so used to everything being bull in the last 15 months since the president got in office that they forgot that they were traded 16,000, 15,000 only a couple of short years ago, not even. Okay, so there's been tremendous gains, and people are really cashing in. All you have to do is look at your 401k, and take a look at some of your retirement plans, and you notice some of them look like 800 numbers right now. I mean, it's no reason to panic, and I say this over and over again. You know, just ride it out, ride the storm out, unless there's a total collapse, and then everybody's screwed anyway, so it wouldn't matter which way you go. But that's my theory on it, and I've been right on the money so far in the last few years anyway, and I called it, and I've called it right. So just hold on to your cash, hold your positions. You only lose when you sell. Remember that. And then you have nobody to blame but yourself. 2 things govern the market. It's greed and it's fear. Greed to sell early, greed to not buy enough, and the fear to sell too early, and the fear that the markets are all going to collapse. Oh, the sky is falling. We hear it all the time here on Wall Street. A lot going on around town. You know, the hottest business in the world, and we're going to get to my good friend Larry Reed is here from Cleartronic, and we're going to be speaking to him shortly after the next break. And we're going to talk about the cannabis oil business and how it's basically taken over, all legalized across 50 states. It doesn't have any THC, so you're not going to be like eating peyote in the desert. I mean, this is stuff that actually has a health benefit, which nobody, not even Jeff Sessions, can go ahead and dispute. In fact, he's called for more studies on it because he sees the benefit in it, although he can't see any crime by anybody else, but he can see the benefit of cannabinoid products. Easy for me to say. You know, the Brooklyn comes out in me every once in a while. But again, you know, it's been sweeping the nation. It's doing really well. Some of the stocks you've seen, you know, with minimum investments, lives have been changed. Pot Network is a double, what was it, 006, not about a half a penny. And it rocketed up to over $1 one day, closed at 97.5. So if you were to put 10 grand into it, you'd probably cash in about $800,000 at the peak. And that's not bad for 10,000. Figure half of that, 4,000. I mean, no matter how you look at it, you're going to buy a brand new car. Okay, what are you driving now, huh? You didn't get in on it. And that's one of the things, then that's why I like companies on the pink sheet, on the bulletin board. Minimum investment, maximum product. You see it all the time, and the profitability is right there. It's right in front of you. You got to find the diamond in the rough, and I've been doing it here on this network since 1998, and we've done it successfully. I mean, we had Craigslist on when Jim Buckmiller had just began. We've had so many great companies on here. We've had everybody from Jack Welch, right up to Steve Jobs. I've interviewed them all. And take a look at where they are today. Okay, Jack retired, and once he went, GE went down the tubes, if you ask me. But the point was, at the prime, that's when we had them, and they were coming up in the world. And that's really what you want to do in this business anyway, is I want to find people and I want to find companies that have solid upside, great growth potential in a hot market, and then go ahead and put your money where your mouth is. If you want to invest, that's what I go for. Minimum investment, maximum profit, I should say, on good product line. And that's what we look for. We look for stuff like that, and we found it. We found it with Pot Network. We found it with Go for Protocol. We found it with MI. We found it with other good companies that have come across over the last 7 months alone. And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the products. I'm going to bring on Mr. Larry Reed. We're going to talk about his Form 10 spinoff, solidifying shareholder value by giving him shares in a brand new company that's been around, that has sales, that has great management, has terrific upside. They're right where they want to be. And we're going to talk about that as soon as I come back. CLRI is the symbol. CLRI on the bulletin board. Pig sheets right now. And we'll talk about the Form 10 and just what happens with the Form 10 when I get back. Don't go away.
I don't care what type of business you're in. Let's face it, you all need. And nobody drives traffic, and I'm talking about traffic that brings you dollars, than RP Summit and rpsummit.com. Yep. They're here now in South Florida. They've taken over the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. Everybody knows who RP Summit is, because RP Summit drives you traffic. Let's face it, if you give me $1 on a Monday and I give you back $4 on a Wednesday, the only thing you should be thinking about is giving me more dollars. Well, that's what RP Summit does. They are the best in the business at driving real traffic to your website or to your business. Because let's face it, it's all about getting bodies, getting people to find you. What good is having a website if nobody knows where you are? Let's face it. I mean, what are they just going to pull it out of the air? Of course not. Well, RP Summit's been driving people to businesses now for over 20 years and successful. And the fact is, once you hire them, you're never going to fire them. I suggest you look at rpsummit.com or give them a call for a free consultation at 856-424-7222. That's rpsummit.com. They will drive traffic like you've never seen before. And believe me, once you get them, you'll never get rid of them. You'll say, why didn't I do this before? It's simple. You didn't know about them, but now you do, so there's no excuse. Pick up a phone, 856-424-7222. rpsummit.com, the best in the business. Coco Pazzo, for the finest Italian food this side of Italy. Go to Coco Pazzo on East Commercial Boulevard, 2724 East Commercial Boulevard. Happy hour daily, 5 till 7 o'clock, 4 till 7 during the week. Can't beat it. A bar menu second to none. Fried calamari, meatballs, eggplant rollatini, and fresh mozzarella. Chef Carlo will set you up perfectly at Coco Pazzo. 4 stars in the Sun Sentinel. Unprecedented. 4 stars. Voted the best new restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Coco Pazzo. Stop in. Say hello. Stiff drinks. Best happy hour in Fort Lauderdale is at Coco Pazzo. The best mozzarella. All made fresh. Cooked to order. Music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at Coco Pazzo. Come early. The band starts early. Forget about it. The best Italian food around, Coco Pazzo. Reservations 754-265-7116.
12:14 lunchtime here at WSBR 740, Superstation 740, broadcasting all over South Florida. You know, I've had this gentleman on my show several times, and he's been a long-time CEO, president of the company since 1999. Okay, and I'm talking about the one and only Cleartronic. Their symbol is CLRI. They're on the pink, soon to be uplisting, and fully audited, and now they're going through a Form 10 spinoff through one of their subsidiaries. Larry, welcome to the show. Mr. Larry Reed.
Thanks for having me, Mick.
Well, you know, you've been a busy man lately, and I know you've been with the company for forever, really, since its inception.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah, you know, that in itself is something. You've been public the whole time. I mean, you never missed a filing. You were audited. You've been audited. You're bulletin board eligible, but you elected to stay there, and now you've really stepped up the game, I got to say. And you talk about increasing shareholder value. Nothing better than a Form 10 spinoff.
Yes, we're looking to really increase shareholder value here, Mick. We want to get we wanted to get into the cannabis oil business, and we were lucky enough to find a company that I just fell in love with. I love the management. I love the relationships they have with certain people in the business, and we're really, really excited about acquiring CannaPlus Global.
Now, you had your other company, which was a wholly owned subsidiary.
Right. Well, Voice Interop is a wholly owned subsidiary of Cleartronic.
Right.
And our plan, once we found CannaPlus, was to do a Form 10 spinoff of Voice Interop and acquire CannaPlus, which we did on Monday of this week. We acquired all the assets of CannaPlus, and we're in the process of filing a Form 10 and an S1 registration with the SEC. It should be filed in the next week or so.
Right. They take about 30 to 60 days,
right.
And I know it because I've done several of them over my career.
And so what we're doing, Mick, is we're registering a little over 16, almost 17 million shares for the Cleartronic shareholders, and we're registering another 20 million shares for the CannaPlus shareholders.
Right.
So as a result, we're going to have probably in the neighborhood of 44 million shares outstanding.
And the Cleartronic shareholders, there'll be a formula, like there always is, that for X amount of shares that you hold as of the registration date, automatically you will receive X amount of shares in CannaPlus absolutely free, deposited right in your account, because you plan on doing it electronically.
Correct. It'll be a book entry format, so that'll be done automatically by the transfer agent. If they hold stock in their brokerage account, the brokerage account will get the shares deposited directly into their brokerage account.
It's automatic. I've had it done before. And what that means to people is if you own shares at Cleartronic, you'll receive shares in CannaPlus Global, which is, I believe, the name. CannaPlus will get its own QSIP number, which is a registration number given to you by FINRA and the SEC. They'll also be issued a new trading symbol. So, again, they'll be trading on the bulletin board, they're going right to the bulletin board or the QX.
Right.
And then right from there, you're off to the races with a company with a float of less than, really, they'll roll out, and I've been told it'll be around 4 million at worst, 20 million, 22 million available, which is a minuscule float when you take a look at some of these companies. In fact, Cleartronic only has a 53 million share float. Right. Okay, well, you just put that in a press release not too long ago, and you had an accounting done, and the transfer agent came back with it. So you're in a hot industry with a brand new company. You know where every share of stock is going to be. Your existing shareholders are going to get stock in the new company without any charge, no fees, nothing. So it would pay, when you take a look at Cleartronic at 8 cents, you say to yourself, this stock's going to, and I know it's going to open around $1.50 or $1.50 in that area. And using the formula, and the last formula we used, it was about, for every 100 shares, shareholders were given 7.5, 800. For every 1,000 shares, they were getting 700, 800 shares. So it works out. Yeah, 7.5. Yours would be a little bit different, but it's still beneficial. So depending on FINRA and their approval, there should be no hang-ups. You're audited. You've always been audited, though, over at Cleartronic.
Oh, yeah. We've been a fully reporting company now since 2008.
Right. You could have jumped any time or not listed, right. But you elected, like most companies do, to not burden themselves with $100,000 a year, which is about what it takes, 80 to 100 grand. In some cases, it used to be more, between audits, quarterly reports, Edgarizing, and all the other facets of being a fully reporting bulletin board or a NASDAQ company. They elect not to do that. And the Pink Sheets are the oldest exchange in the United States. They were the first one. I mean, Toyota's on the Pink Sheets. It's not that it's anything wrong with it. It's just that some people elect to file once a year, and they don't have to be audited. But in your case, you are audited, and you will continue to be. In fact, your VoiceOp has also been audited.
Voice Interrupt has been audited as well, Mick. That's correct.
That's why FINRA will push it right through. We have from Canaplus right now, we have the marketing director sitting here next to me, the very pretty Anicia Jackson. Anicia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mick.
You got a lot of good things going on over there. Tell us a little bit about the company and where it's gone so far and what you've been doing. You already have revenue.
Yes.
From my notes here, you have already 20 clinics that take in your products, 109 doctors out of the 4,900 right now registered in the state of Florida, which will handle medical marijuana. Mm-hmm. And you've got a big percentage of that, and it's growing just about every day. And you have revenue each doctor. You sell to the doctors. You don't sell to the patients.
Right. We have partnered with HL Medical, and they are a network of certified medical marijuana physicians here in the state of Florida, all over Florida, actually, all 5 regions, north, south, east, west, and central. And we sell to physicians to implement the credible cannabidiol market here in Florida. Our products are full spectrum, which means that they offer a variety of effects within the product, such as essential vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, mm-hmm. and also terpenoids, which are the natural flavors which add the holistic effect on our products.
Terpenoids. There's one that terpenoid sounds like something from outer space. Mm-hmm. Is that humanoids or terpenoids?
Yeah. Also known as flavonoids.
Flavonoids.
Yes.
We'll get through terpenoid first, and then we'll work on the other oids right now. You're generating probably about $10,000 a month per doctor in revenue streams. So when you are a public company, which will probably be, you filed your papers. We'll say it could happen anytime from June to July. You already have revenue streams that are built up.
Right. Our consumers, we want to reach out to them and educate our consumers and let them know that our product is 100% non-psychoactive. It has no THC. We don't promote recreational use.
Mm-hmm.
We are targeting mainly medical grade CBD full spectrum products that offer a wide range of benefits of cannabidiol, also known as, and cannabinoid, which is the rest of the cannabinoids, meaning cytocannabinoid.
You lost me, doctor. You lost me. Let's put it this way: it's some good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and nobody can disavow that. I mean, studies have shown it has so many treatments for ailments. It's non-addictive. Mm-hmm. There's such a problem right now with opioids, another oid here in the United States as well as around the world, where people are getting hooked on it. And it seems that anything with cannabis product right now is really working well. And again, it doesn't have the THC in it, which means you're not going to go, crazy hallucinating. This is really good for you. Good stuff.
Completely organic.
Right.
Completely holistic,
mm-hmm.
and guaranteed benefits.
Now, Larry, again, here we are in a situation where people are dependent upon going out and finding a company that has cannabinoid products. You, on the other hand, with this here, you actually are the growers, the manufacturers. You make the powders, you make the cannabinoid. You don't have to go to any outside sources to do anything anymore.
That's correct, Mick. That's what we're trying to do, be completely vertical.
Like 99.9% of them that are in the business,
correct,
that are public companies, they basically private label stuff that they don't know what's in it. You take it from the growth of the actual plant, and now with the acquisition, we're looking at growing possibly 1 million plants a year, which is tremendous, and this is the highest quality, not the stuff you get from China, which they ship to Europe and then transshipped to the United States under a Swedish label, but it's really coming from China.
Right.
Okay, which is an inferior product, and anybody will tell you that.
Our products are 100% standardized, which means they're fit to work for your ailment, work for your condition. CBD with other cannabinoids and other terpenoids, as I stated, they produce an entourage effect, which is more beneficial and more effective than just consuming CBD by itself.
Well, that's obvious because Florida had just passed the legalization of medical marijuana. I mean, if what comes out of these plants isn't working, why would you have it in 29 states legalized as far as medical use?
Right.
I think there's 7 now or 8 which are for recreational use. This doesn't have the THC, which is the hallucinatory drug that they put in there, which gets you high.
Right.
All right. It has basically the effect, and we know it works with PSTD. We know it works with autism. We know it works with tics. We know it works with arthritis. I mean, we've seen it over and over again. And, the results are staggering. And then finally they said, you know what? There may be something here. And like I said, Jeff Sessions is probably the biggest stick in the mud that I know in Washington. Says, come on, what President Trump said right from the beginning, let's legalize it. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he has no benefit, but he recognizes the benefit.
Cannabidiol, CBD, can be used as a digestive aid, as an analgesic, as an anti-inflammatory. It reduces swelling, anxiety relief, it reduces cancer spread. And it also is used as an antipsychotic. So, I mean, you're looking at
I should have had that for my ex-wife. You want to talk about somebody psychotic? I mean, I'm still going through PSTD. I got PSTD from marriage. Yep. I'm the only guy in the world.
And it has short-term and long-term benefits. The more you use this product immediately, the faster you see benefits. The more you use this product long term, you see the benefits you do with consumption.
I read an article the other day about how it's actually helping women going through, I guess, the change they call it. What happens in this change, Larry, is when you go to bed with Cameron Diaz and you wake up with ZZ Top. I mean, it happens like that. But you want to talk about menopause, that means men pause, run, hide. I mean, it's like a schizoid.
Yeah.
And, having gone through it once with somebody, I never want to go through it again. All right? But that's basically where we are with that. Now, Larry, you filed all the papers with a Form 10, everything about it, the registration.
But it hasn't been filed with the SEC yet, Mick. It'll be filed sometime in the next week to 10 days.
Right. And from that time, the clock, they're on notice now. I know you put them on notice, and the clock has begun to run. Once they look at the paperwork and it meets all the approvals, then we move to the QSIP number, which they'll assign, which means the new company, the new stock, will be fully registered and free trading for the shareholders based on the formula. And just before you go live, they issue a symbol. I know it usually takes about 72 hours before your company is actually live. You'll get a call from FINRA, and they'll issue a symbol, or you can request the symbol, provided it's not taken by anybody. I'd imagine you're going to be somewhere like CANN if you can get it, or something like that. I don't know if that's taken. But the symbol itself will be issued at that time, and then within 24 hours of going live, automatically the stock will be electronically transferred to your brokerage account or your wherever you deem necessary. Everybody who has a brokerage account will get the stock electronically. There'll be no cost. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. And everything seems to be working well.
Yes, it does.
You've done a lot of traveling. You've got your miles in. You looked at the facilities, and everything meets with your approval.
It does, Mick. I'm very, very pleased to be involved with Cannabis Global. Mm-hmm. Very pleased.
Right.
I should mention that we also have a relationship with Cannabis Colombia in the country of Colombia.
Right.
Within the next 6 months, we'll be growing hemp in Colombia and exporting it and importing it here to the United States to be processed.
Right. Once it's processed, be processed here, and then you'll distribute it throughout your medication,
right,
and eventually make its way to the doctor, to the patient, which is, really, when you look at it, you have all the components in line. It's just a question of now FINRA to come across. I know you don't have any debt. You're not debt strapped like some of these companies. Nothing toxic whatsoever. You're funded strictly with private money, okay, which they are shareholders. They're not. It's not something that can be converted or anything
Correct.
like that.
No.
Okay, those convertible debentures will actually take a good company and turn it into sub-penny stock and drive it into the ground. It's basically you're selling your life out for a few pieces of silver. I mean, I've heard that before. Okay. Now, on your side of the coin, what about you as far as building a staff of professionals to go out and visit these doctors, things of that nature? How do you intend on building that business?
Well, we target professionals first, and then we also educate the professionals, because what happens is that everybody wants to be in this fast-growing industry, but nobody wants to take the time to learn. So our responsibility with our staffers is that we make sure that they're credited with knowledge and they're credited with experience. And that takes time, but it also takes diligence,
Well, they have to do that in Colorado.
Right.
You have to go to school. You have to have a licensed grower. The expense in actually growing over in Colorado is in the tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions up front. And what it is that the guy goes into says, I'm going to go into business. He's got $500,000 and you eat it up immediately. It's crazy. But, you do have the doctors which will carry product for their patients. It's a lot easier than going out and trying to sell it one-on-one.
Right.
The doctors themselves, they know what their patients need.
Exactly.
And as the non-addictive factor, I think the non-addictive factor today is what stands out to me.
Right.
Knowing that 70,000 people a year die with abuse of drugs, and it's all pain pills.
Right.
If you can help your pain with something that's not addictive, doesn't it make sense?
Right. Our product is definitely an exit drug for harmful chemicals and pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, well, pharmaceuticals will kill you. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back in a minute. On with Anisha Jackson, the great Larry Reed from Cleartronic. Canaplus, huh? Something to be excited about. Don't go away. I'll come back here on a Throwback Thursday. Be right back. Coco Pazzo, for the finest Italian food this side of Italy. Go to Coco Pazzo on East Commercial Boulevard, 2724 East Commercial Boulevard. Happy hour daily, 5 till 7 o'clock, 4 till 7 during the week. Can't beat it. A bar menu second to none. Fried calamari, meatballs, eggplant rollatini, and fresh mozzarella. Chef Carlo will set you up perfectly at Coco Pazzo. 4 stars in the Sun Sentinel. Unprecedented. 4 stars. Voted the best new restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Coco Pazzo. Stop in. Say hello. Stiff drinks. Best happy hour in Fort Lauderdale is at Coco Pazzo. The best mozzarella. All made fresh. Cooked to order. Music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at Coco Pazzo. Come early. The band starts early. Forget about it. The best Italian food around, Coco Pazzo. Reservations 754-265-7116. Attention, doctors, car lots. I don't care what type of business you're in. Let's face it, you all need traffic. And nobody drives traffic. And I'm talking about traffic that brings you dollars than RP Summit and rpsummit.com. Yep. They're here now in South Florida. They've taken over the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. Everybody knows who RP Summit is because RP Summit drives you traffic. Let's face it, if you give me $1 on a Monday and I give you back $4 on a Wednesday, the only thing you should be thinking about is giving me more dollars. Well, that's what RP Summit does. They are the best in the business at driving real traffic to your website or to your business. Because let's face it, it's all about getting bodies, getting people to find you. What good is having a website if nobody knows where you are? Let's face it. I mean, what are they just going to pull it out of the air? Of course not. Well, RP Summit's been driving people to businesses now for over 20 years and successful. And the fact is, once you hire them, you're never going to fire them. I suggest you look at rpsummit.com or give them a call for a free consultation at 856-424-7222. That's rpsummit.com. They will drive traffic like you've never seen before. And believe me, once you get them, you'll never get rid of them. You'll say, why didn't I do this before? It's simple. You didn't know about them, but now you do, so there's no excuse. Pick up a phone, 856-424-7222. rpsummit.com, the best in the business. 10:35 on a throwback Thursday here in beautiful sunny Boca Raton, Florida. I'm the Mixter, joined by Larry Reed and Anicia Jackson, and we're going to be talking a lot about this new venture, a Form 10 being filed. If you're just tuning in from Cleartronic, they're going ahead and registration statement. If you own shares of Cleartronic, you just had yourself a chutzpah, because you're going to get free trading shares once approved by FINRA. It could take 30, 60, 90, about 30, 60 days, somewhere in between there. And right now, CLRI is the symbol. They'll be given a symbol in the new company, Counterplus, once they get their FINRA approvals, and it'll be a separately trading company opening on the bulletin board. Larry, you also have a partnership now where you've gone ahead and you've retained MMCG, Medical Marijuana Consulting Group. They've been around a long time, and they're like the 500-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to this. They're going to be your marketing arm. Am I correct in that?
Correct. That's one of the reasons we like Canaplus, Mick, is because of their relationship with Medical Marijuana Consulting Group. They have a master distributorship agreement for our Canaplus products, and they're also equipped to arrange for people, consumers in the state of Florida, to get their medical marijuana prescription card. They have a complete system set up to handle that for the individuals. And so I would encourage people to go to mmcg.biz and check them out.
mmcg.biz.
B-I-Z.
Okay.
Now, also, along with Medical Marijuana Consulting Group, we also acquired an agreement with HL Medical. And HL Medical is a network of 109 doctors and 20 clinics throughout the state of Florida who will be selling our products distributed to them by MMCG.
And
So
it's out of 4,900 registered doctors who handle these products in the United States. So I guess as you get your product out,
that's just in the state of Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
We're contacting doctors. We have a team that's contacting doctors every day, trying to sign them up to become distributors of Canaplus product.
You know what it is? Unless you get to them and put it in front, and I've dealt with doctors from when I was a real estate developer. They're so busy practicing medicine, they don't practice on their own business.
Right.
If you bring them the product, they see it, and it works for their patients. Believe me, they really want to give it to their patients. Right. That's what a lot of conscientious doctors. And again, it's not a registered drug. You know, it's not anything like oxycodone or Percocet or any of these other addicting things. That basically you get rid of one ailment, and now you got another one because you're addicted to this stuff.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what class you come from. You could come from Rush Limbaugh, who was addicted to Percocets. You could come right down to some of the ball players I know, some I played with, and you start taking this stuff for pain, and the next thing you know, you can't stop. And that's really why we got 70,000 deaths, and that's why cannabis products right now are the hottest thing around.
Right.
Because they work.
Exactly.
You got the figures on that, don't you?
I do. The market is outstanding for legal medical marijuana.
And it's
cannabis.
still in its infancy.
It is. It is. The ArcView market research stated that the compound annual growth rate for medical marijuana is in between 30 to 33%, making it one of the fastest growing sectors here in the United States. So the numbers are 2014 sales went from 4.6 billion, 2015 5.7 billion, 2016 it was recorded to be 6.7 billion. So the projection of medical marijuana legal sales is by 2021 is to be $20.2 billion compounded annually as a growth rate. So investors just hold on because money's coming.
Yeah, we've seen it. I can show you some stocks that are in this industry that are trading, at $100, at $90, $60. But I haven't found anyone that takes it from gate to wire. Has all the components. They're dependent upon somebody else in that chain to keep the flow going. And once they lose that person in the chain, it throws the company in a flip. And that's what the problem is.
Right.
Here, what I see and what I've read and what I've researched, through your filings and some of the other things that I've been made available to me, is from the inception of the plant itself, of which it's derived, which is removing the THC,
right,
making it perfect, turning it into the powder, and then putting it into the different medications as they see fit to basically be distributed. So you have the distribution network in place. Right. With your partnership with MMCG.
Right.
You have the doctors already in place.
Right.
Okay, only to add to that as you get going. And so you're taking it from point of inception right to the actual patient.
Yes.
And everything in between is controlled by you, which means you're not dependent on anybody.
Exactly.
Correct.
We have the perfect trifecta.
That seems to be. Larry, was that part of your decision to go ahead? Cleartronics has been in the electronic business and the software business for many years. It's let's face it, Cleartronic, your products are used by Harris County during the hurricane, which is in Texas. It was used over here in the Keys when the hurricane came through last year. The communications and everything like that. You're developing rec tenors and things of that nature. That'll remain the same. But for you to go ahead and say, listen, I'm going to take Voice Up and I'm going to spin it out. It's been reporting. And fully reporting now for 3 or 4 years. It's been audited over and over again. That must have gave you a clear path to make the decision to jump.
Well, it's something we discussed with our board, Mick, and we felt that it was time to find another market. Voice Interop has pretty much peaked at its growth potential. So we wanted to find another market that we could enter with a public vehicle. And that's why we decided to spin off Voice Interop in a Form 10, including an S1 registration. And we were fortunate enough to find Canaplus Global, and we were able to acquire their assets along with their agreements with MMCG and their agreements with HL Medical.
Which is the doctors themselves, the group.
There's just so much built-in value to Canaplus Global that we're just excited as can be about the potential growth of where we can be. And it's just an exciting time to be in the cannabidiol market, and we're in it.
It hasn't hit full stride. It's still in its infancy. And just in its infancy, when you're looking at some, growth like I do, various companies all over the United States and around the world for that matter, okay, the cannabis oils, the CDB products, all these things are just about coming in. They're in their infancy. Right. They're not an embryo anymore like they were 5 years ago, but they're still an infant. Right. And it's still growing. More and more people are starting to come over to the way of thinking. There's education, as you mentioned, that plays a big part of it. The medical community now seems to be 100% behind it. Do you find that when you're out there with the medical community, changing their way of thinking?
Well, that's the thing. The community itself has been conditioned underneath the stigma that was campaigned a long time ago against the crop.
It's a gateway drug. But this is not addictive.
Right.
This is not to get you high.
The partnership that we have with the entities, it's very crucial to when we reach out to our potential consumers, because not only are they educated on what CBD is, they're recommended to get their card so they could legally use other cannabidiol products, and and they're backed by certified physicians, that are paving the way, and it's all educated. It's all education.
Yeah, well, education, and like you said, you have to educate the doctors. You have to put the time in. People want to do this. Anybody who wants to get involved with the company has to go through a period of education. You just can't say, "Hey, go out and do this." You got to know your product. And you got to know what goes in it.
Exactly, and that's kind of where my nonprofit comes in.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Holistic Charities Foundation is an educational nonprofit that fundraises, organizes, and operates a series of cannabis, and which is medical and industrial cannabis, and holistic health events and projects. So that's how I come in the mix of implementing education, credible education for our certified physicians, for our medical marijuana card holders, and for our consumers and potential investors that would like to know more about cannabidiol or cannabinoids. Or
you have a website that they can go to
yes.
get directly to you?
HolisticCharities.com.
HolisticCharities.com.
Yes.
Okay, so anybody out there who wants to learn more about this, Nisha will be happy to sit down with you if you're a physician.
Right.
If you're listening. Again, that's...
HolisticCharities.com. We actually have a hemp art event coming up next month.
Yeah, what about that? I heard about that somewhere.
Well, I have a project called the Hemp Art Project, and we have professional artist collaborators that help stretch 100% hemp canvas and make 100% hemp oil
Wait a minute. Let's get this. You actually make a painting out of a hemp plant?
Well, hemp was actually the number one used commodity back in historical times. Rembrandt, Van Gogh, they all used 100% hemp canvas. Yes, and industrial hemp has been used, especially here in America, for the longest. Henry Ford built the first Ford engine to be ran off of hemp. The infrastructure, the fibers of the car was hemp. So
it's true. I had read that before, that if they had cultivated hemp, that would put an end to the need for oil, which would end all wars.
Right, exactly. And we actually have an endocannabinoid system that works with the cannabinoids found in the plants. So.
You got to remember that 93%, and this is a proven fact, I swiped this out of books. I'm an avid reader. And 93% of all the cures known to mankind came out of plants, either algae, the rainforest. And when people say, well, we're getting rid of the rainforest, we actually might be cutting our own throats, because in there are cures for anything. The cure for cancer might be sitting in a tree somewhere.
Right.
We just haven't gotten around to figuring it out yet.
And that's honestly, CannaPlus, we configure that to the extreme because we use innovative technology in the extraction processes. We find the full spectrum cannabinoids that fit your ailments, your condition, and we create a product that is guaranteed to work.
Researchers all over the world are now doing this, from France, China. French have always been ahead when it came to this, but they were the first ones really to look into this. Okay, the Chinese, naturally, they'll steal technology and they'll be off to the races trying to duplicate what we do here. They're pretty good at duplicating things. They duplicated themselves 1.4 billion times.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they're good at that. And here in the United States now, all of a sudden, it seems we're catching fire. Yep. And we're starting to take a long look at this. So you're in an industry that has potential upside. We don't even know where it's going.
Right.
I spoke to Pot Network. I spoke to marijuana. I spoke to about 25 different companies. And each one of them is in agreement on one thing, and one thing is that we have no idea how this is going to expand.
Right.
Technically speaking, logistically speaking, or even looking toward the medical uses. We haven't discovered it yet. Somewhere out there, somebody's going to, every day seems they make another move toward making it everywhere.
Right. And that's the thing. There's a research gap. We have neglected the discoveries, the potential discoveries, medical and industrial, as an alternative commodity for 80 to 100 years. So now, as an innovative, as an upscale society, we're introduced by this piece of agriculture that we've thought was a harmful drug, and now
a gateway drug, as they called it back in the 60s.
Right. Now we have to imply the knowledge and implement the scientific research so we could create a credible market and something that people will accept and understand fully.
I've noticed over the years, you got even the funny thing is, federally it's not legal yet. In Washington D.C. it is legal. They actually give you seeds to grow marijuana. It makes no sense to me.
Right.
I mean, can't they get on one page? And I noticed something else about that. I was always for legalizing marijuana. I don't smoke it. I did it in high school. I never liked it. Never have since. But I noticed something that when people who do smoke pot, and there's a lot of them, let's face it.
There's a lot.
What is the one thing you notice? They always have it.
Yeah.
So if they're going to have it anyway,
Right.
make it safer, tax
Yeah.
it, pay the deficit,
Yeah.
put money into drug treatment into other places where
Yes.
it's needed, because it's getting here anyway. Take
Right.
the cartels out of the mix and go direct. And so
Right.
I'm all for it. President Trump said the same thing. He's all for it. It's just they keep saying gateway.
Right.
But the same guys I know smoking weed and women that I know smoking, none of them have gone to heroin or anything. I mean, just they like to smoke grass once in a while.
Thousands of years ago, there was no recreational. It was only medical or industrial. And that's how this crop has been stigmatized off of recreational use. We only thought THC was the chemical component in the crop when really there's
many
infinite.
infinite. You hit it on the head.
Chemical compounds that don't have psychoactive components,
Right.
that have a versatile medical benefits for different types of ailments. So it's completely important that people understand that it's kind of like
That's why I'm
serotonin.
behind research on
Right.
this.
It's like serotonin is to the CNS central nervous system. The endocannabinoid system found natural inside our bodies have neurotransmitters that are endocannabinoids that we need to survive off of, to live in as homeostasis living organisms that we have been neglecting because the product has been illegal. So coming out of this prohibition stage, it's important that people find the cannabinoid that's best suited for their endocannabinoid system to live at a balanced homeostasis, healthy lifestyle.
A little bit above me here.
Yes.
Okay, you lost me at hello. Okay, no, but I understand where you're
Right.
going, and it's true. You're going to have to go ahead and allow researchers to research, because that's what they do.
Right.
They research. Do your research out there. When you take a look at Cleartronic and you're an investor, think about what we said here, which will be available on YouTube probably in about 2 or 3 hours. You can look at it, get to see it all over again, and get to learn. You're looking for an investment, and as a neutral party, which I've been, but I look for value in companies. I look
Right.
for value, and we're trading with Cleartronic somewhere around 8 cents. And here you are. If you bought Cleartronic, you're going to get a new company. Okay, you're still going to own your Cleartronic stock. You're still going to get the new company for absolutely free, and you're in something. You're actually in the pool without getting wet. You don't have to
Right.
go out and buy two.
Right.
And I just don't see why it wouldn't work. I know myself, I hold some Cleartronic stock, which I've held forever, and I intend to hold it. I'm waiting for my dividend, and we'll see where it goes from there. I mean, it's been excellent having you on the show, both of you.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
Larry, I think you knocked one out of the park with this girl and the team she's got behind her.
I think so too, Mick.
And it could be something to look at. There's no dilution. There's no debt. And when I say debt, I mean convertible debt, where if you don't pay me back, I'm going to take it at 0.001, and I'm going to convert 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. So you can't even get out from under a convertible debt in a reverse. You can't reverse the debt. You can't reverse it. You can't get out from under it. There's only 2 ways out of it. One is you go broke, and the other one is you die. And that's it. The convertible debt is forever. It's worse than herpes. And this company does not have that. And you would put yourself in that position anyway. You've had people offer you money, and I know this for the years of relationship you and I had, and you basically showed them the door.
Yeah, we don't take the phone calls any longer.
No, and I don't blame you, especially now that you've gone ahead, you made the move, you pulled the trigger, you're ready to move forward with this. A Form 10, the best way to go. And I'll give you an example. Pot Network did a reverse merger. They inherited all the garbage from the last group. This we don't have. You know where every share of stock is. You know who has it. It's basically an IPO, just a simpler form using a Form 10. And had you not had your other company, the subsidiary, you couldn't have done this.
That's true, Mick.
I mean, it's almost like fate steps in and says, keep a hand. He's been audited for years, putting money into it for years out of his own pocket.
Yep.
He's been there since 1999.
Everything happens for a reason at the right time.
If you had been a policeman this year, you'd be getting a gold watch. All right, almost 20 years at the same company. Terrific. Great having you, Larry. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, Mick.
Okay.
Thanks,
Nicia, terrific. I know you guys are going to do a great job. CLRI is the symbol. Okay, take a look at it. And I'll tell you the truth. It warrants some attention. I'm going to go to a break, come back and wrap it up with you. You're on with the Mixer on Super 740 here in Boca Raton and around the world. Amp2.tv. Be right back. All right. Coco Pazzo, for the finest Italian food this side of Italy. Go to Coco Pazzo on East Commercial Boulevard, 2724 East Commercial Boulevard. Happy hour daily, 5 till 7 o'clock, 4 till 7 during the week. Can't beat it. A bar menu second to none. Fried calamari, meatballs, eggplant rollatini, and fresh mozzarella. Chef Carlo will set you up perfectly at Coco Pazzo. 4 stars in the Sun Sentinel. Unprecedented. 4 stars. Voted the best new restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Coco Pazzo. Stop in. Say hello. Stiff drinks. Best happy hour in Fort Lauderdale is at Coco Pazzo. The best mozzarella. All made fresh. Cooked to order. Music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at Coco Pazzo. Come early. The band starts early. Forget about it. The best Italian food around, Coco Pazzo. Reservations 754-265-7116. Attention, doctors, car lots. I don't care what type of business you're in. Let's face it, you all need traffic. And nobody drives traffic, and I'm talking about traffic that brings you dollars, than RP Summit and rpsummit.com. Yep. They're here now in South Florida. They've taken over the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. Everybody knows who RP Summit is because RP Summit drives you traffic. Let's face it, if you give me $1 on a Monday and I give you back $4 on a Wednesday, the only thing you should be thinking about is giving me more dollars. Well, that's what RP Summit does. They are the best in the business at driving real traffic to your website or to your business. Because let's face it, it's all about getting bodies, getting people to find you. What good is having a website if nobody knows where you are? Let's face it. I mean, what are they just going to pull it out of the air? Of course not. Well, RP Summit's been driving people to businesses now for over 20 years and successful. And the fact is, once you hire them, you're never going to fire them. I suggest you look at rpsummit.com or give them a call for a free consultation at 856-424-7222. That's rpsummit.com. They will drive traffic like you've never seen before. And believe me, once you get them, you'll never get rid of them. You'll say, why didn't I do this before? It's simple. You didn't know about them, but now you do, so there's no excuse. Pick up a phone, 856-424-7222. rpsummit.com, the best in the business. Just about wrap it up here. Larry Reed's still here. Alicia Jackson. Great time today on the show. Had a great time. I'm going to go see Big Dan and get my mail. I'm expecting a package in over at the U.S. Mail Center. I got to drop in to see him. Liz Sharp is going to be singing at Coco Pazzo on Friday night. My girl over there, I love her. She'll be with the Howard Baker Trio. I'll drop by probably over the weekend, suck down a couple of vodkas. Today is National Horse Day, by the way. Okay? You know, horses, great animals. AdoptAHorse.org. My good friend Freddie Hudson, Bobby V, Bob Vitrano himself, another great harness racer like Freddie Hudson was. Okay, they get behind this, rescued 4,000 horses. They're our partners. They don't belong in the slaughterhouse. They certainly don't belong in dog food. Okay, shout out to my good friend Michelle. Okay, my little Batavia sweetheart. She's doing great. Okay, great to hear from her. And again, we're going to have a great weekend. Today's National Horse Day. Tomorrow will be National Suck Down a Bottle of Vodka Day. Okay, as Friday is upon us, a great weekend. We're going to have a good time this weekend, bounce around town, have a great, safe trip. Thanks, Freddie Santori, Steve, Joe behind the glass. Great Jody Mybaum. Larry, always a pleasure. Alicia, love having you here. Have a great weekend, everybody. The Mixer signing off. God bless you and see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Mick Bazzuly Show, brought to you by RP Summit, putting money in businesses' pockets for 20 years. Visit rpsummit.com. mick.com. And tune in again next time for The Mick Bazzuly Show.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Want to lower your rate and payments, get rid of mortgage insurance, or get cash out? Find out about your best refinance options by tuning into the Get Mortgage Fit radio